Hi everyone, Jane here. Thank you so much for watching today and welcome. Now I'm going to apologise in advance if you hear any noise. They are chopping down trees, I think, in the woodland near where I am with chainsaws. So I'm trying to find somewhere a bit quiet to do this, which was quite difficult. Today I am working in the very final blank page of my Canson art book. This is the Landscape A5 and it is the Saunders Waterford, I can never remember the name, paper in this. And I love this book so much, and I am hopefully going to do a quick flip through maybe sometime this week as a bit of a bonus video for you, just so you can see all the pages. Now I'm starting off with these pigment powders from Pretty Gets Gritty. They're called Explosion powders and the colour is Mermaid. And I wanted to just add some on top of the water. So I spritzed the water on first, then added the colour, spread with my Princeton catalyst tool, and then use this Darkroom door stamp just to spread a little of that colour, but also add a bit more texture and pattern in. I will list all the things I've used in the description box below as usual, so if you see anything and you want to know what I've used, do check out in there as well. Now I'm using some rub-ons. I've really got into using up some of my rub-ons lately. I have a whole video where I use rub-ons for a background and I will link that at the end of the video. Today I'm using this sheet from Aall and Create. It's called Teal Dreams. I've used some of there's two sheets in the pack with different designs on, and this is the first time I've actually used this sheet. Now, if I am trying to be very specific in using a piece of rub-on, I will cut it out before I rub it on. So I'll cut the piece out of the sheet that I want. But because this sheet it's all sort of very abstract and all sort of mixes in together, I wasn't worried about doing that. So I just put it on and just rubbed away with my stick. Now, I had made sure that my pigment powder was dry before I did this sort of part of the project, but going on to things like watercolour paper I think is sometimes a little bit tricky because it's quite fibrous, so it does like to try and pull it up, but I just kept persevering and just gently removing the sheet as needed. So I'm trying to sort of make a line across the whole of that coloured piece. Then I thought, I know, I'm going to do some collage, but I want to get out some bits and bobs that I've got stuck in my drawer that I don't really use. So I've got these stickers. Now these were, I do believe, by France Papillion and it says at the top 2019, so I'm guessing that was the year. And she used to do, she may still do it, a challenge where you did a layer a day for art journaling, and these stickers were a part of that. So they've just been in my drawer. I haven't really thought of using them. They sort of get stuffed to the bottom. So I thought I would use them in this page, and they are stickers, but I went in with my matte medium just to make sure that they were sticking down properly. So this is the Liquitex Professional Matte Medium. And I'm just adding little bits in to go across the page and cutting the circle in half so that I can have half on each side of the page. Now once that was dry, I wanted to add a little bit of shadowing around these pieces of sticker that I'd stuck onto the page. So I'm using the Derwent Inktense pencil, and this colour is Deep Indigo. Along with the bark colour, it's my favourite for adding shadows and sort of grounding for things. And it's just such a lovely, lovely deep blue. Now I started with one brush and then changed to another because I didn't like the way the brush was acting. These are some of my cheaper brushes. I think I got them sort of as part of a watercolour set, so they're not super duper brushes at all. But when I swapped onto this one, it wasn't much better. The sort of bristles were coming apart a little bit, but they do for this. I tend to try to use my older brushes or the ones I'm not so worried about when I'm using my Inktense pencils, just because I don't want it, because it is more of an ink than a paint. I don't want to sort of damage my more expensive brushes. And so I'm just going in and around those little bits just to add that little bit of shadowing. this point I wanted to add some darker elements into this project, and so I got out my Make a Mark stamp set, which I designed for Cleverprints, and I am using Archival ink because it's a good one for going over lots of different products, and it's waterproof as well. So if I had wanted to go over with anything like watercolour or anything water, then that would be okay. So I'm using Faded Jeans for the first part, and then I decided that I did need something a little darker in here. I felt that there wasn't enough contrast going on. Sometimes I don't worry if that's the look I'm going for, but for this one I did feel that it needed something, so I'm going in with the jet black Archival as well. And then I decided that I wanted to colour in little circles. For some reason, every time I stamp these circles, I feel I need to colour them in. So I wanted it to match with the colours already there. So I'm using a Peacock scribble stick from Dina Wakley and just adding the colour into the centres, and not much else to that really. Then I wanted some stenciling, and I've got my gold acrylic paint. This is just a Hobbycraft paint, which is like just a student grade sort of paint that you get from big stores in the UK. And I'm using the Be Crafty Dinkable. I think this one is based on a larger stencil that they do, which is called Metal Alpha, I want to say. But I like these little dinkable ones because I keep them in a little packet and they're always like quick and easy to grab. I wanted to add some splats, so I got the big Posca pen out, and I thought I was going to be able to get it started and then just splat from the pen. Unfortunately, didn't want to do that, so I decided to put some on the mat, add a little bit of water, and then splatter it onto my page that way. Then once I'd done that, I thought I've still got this gold paint sat here, so I'll add some water to that as well and add some gold splats as well, just to sort of add a bit of extra texture into that background. Then I needed some focal points or a focal point to go onto this page, and I've gone for the Maremi Little Personas book, and then I also cut out some little bottles from the Industrial Bits and Bobs book. The sentiment is one that was from Lemon Creation, and I'm just adding these on with some Liquitex matte medium as well. I then needed to ground them because she was sort of standing as if she was floating. Standing as if she was floating, you know what I mean. So I used the Distress pencil from Tim Holtz in Walnut Stain, I do believe it is, just to add a little bit of grounding underneath my images. And that will be more or less the end of the project. So if you have enjoyed this video, do please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love it if you could do that as well. If you see that hype button, I think it's on mobile or apps. I'm not sure which one. I don't think you see the hype button on every form of watching YouTube. But if you do see it and you'd like to give it a hype, please do. That really helps as well. Helps get this video seen by more people. And at the end of the video, you will also see a list of my super supporters who are my YouTube members, and a big thank you to those for their extra support as well. So until the next time, I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.